Boxing fans, kumusta ka, mga kapatid at kaibigan? Well, another good fight comes on December 8, 2012, in how many days? 1 week from now. Yeah, time's flying. When Manny the Pac-Man Pacquiao fights Juan El Dinamita Marquez. Well, they fought already. How many times? 11? 15? Yeah, they fought 3 times already. First time they fought in 2004 at the MGM Arena in Las Vegas, when Marquez won by a split decision. Second time, it was in 2008 when Pacquiao won by a split decision. And the last fight, it was in 2011, just last year, when Pacquiao won again by a majority decision. So now they fight at the same MGM Arena again. So it starts looking to me like that, how do you call it? Deja vu, you know, like a nightmare. It happens again and again and again, and you just can't wake up enough to get rid of it. I won't speak about their boxing careers. I'm pretty sure that all of you know everything about it. I only want to say that time's flying. Cheers. Manny is 33 years old now. Yeah, the age of Jesus Christ. If you remember that biblical story when Jesus performed a miracle by feeding a big crowd with only how many? 5 or 8 fishes? Something like that. So now, just like Jesus Christ, Pac-Man fed the entire city of Los Angeles with 3 turkeys only. Just think about it. 3 turkeys! The entire city! So how much did he spend? It's like about $100 bucks? What a clever guy. He's even better than Jesus. Can you believe that? If you don't, you know, I actually sneakily recorded that moment when he was giving away these 3 turkeys. And particularly how he actually did it. And I have a tape. Oh my God, it's so revealing. If you want to see it, click in the request, you know, below in a box and tell me that you want to see it. And if I get enough requests, so I know you guys want to see it, and I promise that I will upload this tape so you'll know how Pac-Man fed the entire city of Los Angeles with 3 turkeys only. But be prepared. It's very revealing and might be even embarrassing to some. Oh my God. Anyway, judging by their last fight, they both are still in pretty good shape. Marquez in his last fight dominated a good fighter, Sergey Fedchenko from Ukraine. And Pacquiao had his last fight against Tim Bradley last June. To those of you who saw that fight, it was very clear that Pacquiao dominated Bradley throughout the fight. But for some concrete reason, it was two of 3 judges, namely Dwayne Ford and C.J. Ross, remember these names, gave victory to Bradley. It was very obvious that these judges gave a fraudulent score in favor of Bradley, yeah, after obviously being paid by someone interested for a rematch. And guess who it could be? You're right, the Top Rank. Or should we call it the Top Prank? Yeah. Besides creating false champions like Tim Bradley, the top pranksters pulled off this scam to promote the natural outcome, a rematch, which is nothing else but a natural rip-off of boxing fans like you and me, by selling a phony sparring session instead of a serious boxing match at the top dollar. Yeah. Those of you who saw that fight, you won't miss to see that Pacquiao and Bradley were sparring, not boxing. Don't believe me? Go take another look. Pacquiao could knock out Bradley many times over, but he did not do it. For your reference, That pay-per-view cost everyone who paid $54. I do not know about you guys, but I'm not going to pay this time. That crook Bob Arum, let him pay for himself. Yeah, he's a rich guy, he can do it. Now, let's talk about something positive. About some very special abilities of those two fighters. What makes them tick? What makes them so special? The main thing for money is that he is a southpaw. A quick-handed and quick-footed southpaw with a punch. Many good right-handed boxers, even very good ones, don't know how to handle a southpaw. No matter how many fights you got under your belt against the regular right-handed fighters, if fighting a southpaw, you do not count those fights against the righties as your experience, because it takes a totally different set of skills when you fight a southpaw. And especially if that southpaw has a punch. Big thing. He will punish you the very first moment you make a mistake. There are many examples when the southpaws became famous party poopers for many full of themselves right-handed boxers. As an example, you might remember a tragedy of Roy Jones, whose fame went down the tube suddenly after he agreed to fight Antonio Tarver. Or look what happened to the same Roy Jones, or Jeff Lacey, or Miguel Kessler and Bernard Hopkins when they met Joe Calzaghe. Now, guess why Floyd Mayweather avoids to fight Manny Pacquiao so carefully? Because, just like Roy Jones, Floyd is not wired upstairs to fight a southpaw. He was very lucky that Zab Judah, if you remember, another terrific southpaw with a punch, had a bad corner. First few rounds, Zab was beating Floyd and he was getting to him closer and closer. And if Zab would have a decent cornerman who could give him an intelligent advice, he would knock out Floyd by mid-rounds. Floyd was very lucky and he won that fight only because of his good acting when he pretended to be badly hurt below the belt. So it gave his Uncle Roger an excuse to jump in a ring and to choke Zab into unconsciousness. Well, if the referee of that fight was a real referee, he would disqualify Floyd for his cornerman jumping into the ring, for one. And second, if there would be a skilled ring physician, he would not miss Zab being choked. For those who do not know, I'm telling you that choking into unconsciousness is equal to a knockout. The dummy ring physician overlooked this, and dummy referee let the fight to continue, so Zab lost the fight. But we must give the credit to Floyd, because he understood in that fight that he should never fight a puncher southpaw ever again. Smart guy. So I don't blame Floyd for avoiding Pacquiao. He will do everything to avoid Pacquiao, even if it takes to beat up his own wife and kids, so his jail time would be used as an excuse not to fight that walking horror of Pacquiao. Now, Marquez. He's also a very special boxer. His specialty is in that he's one of the very few right-handed boxers who is properly wired upstairs to handle a lefty. His training, and particularly his natural ability to handle a lefty, is outstanding. Yes, Marquez was dominated by Floyd. Yes, Floyd is superior to Marquez in fighting the righties. But since Marquez is wired and is skilled, so much better than Floyd to handle a lefty, Marquez is far more difficult and dangerous opponent for Pacman than Floyd. Alright, so what Pacquiao and Marquez must do in this fight in order to win? In order to win, they must surprise each other by utilizing some totally new strategy which they never used before. B. Marquez, I would work Pacman's body. I would hit his liver at least 20 times in each round. I would alternate liver shots with head shots and vice versa. Those liver shots would decrease the mobility of Pacman, and sooner or later, eventually one of those liver shots would knock Pacman out. Now, being Pacman, I would start my attacks by very light touch, without committing any power, just hinting and basically faking my initial attacks just to provoke Marquez to counter. And once he counters, I would counter his counter with my own counter by throwing punches from every angle possible, and particularly using the uppercuts from both hands. Why? Because Marquez is very susceptible to uppercuts, especially when he's in attack mode, leaning forward, which Manny can, exploit, and then follow up with his own signature left hook and finish Marquez off. So who will win anyway? Well, even though Marquez solemnly brags that he will knock Pacman out, I believe Pacman will win this time, most likely by a 12-round decision. But there is a chance also that Pacman can deliver a late round knockout as well. But in order to win for sure, Pacman needs, I'll tell you a secret. Para manalo si Pacquiao, kailangan niyang uminom ng tuba at balut para matalo niya ng gusto si Marquez. In Tagalog it means, in order to win, Pacquiao must drink lots of tuba and eat so much balut until his belly is real full that he will beat the crap out of that miserable Marquez. And for those who do not know, I must tell you, tuba and balut are the best aphrodisiac ever in existence. And it exists only in the Philippines. I'm not going to tell you the exact ingredients of these two products, because it is a national secret of the Philippines. They'll kill me if I tell you. I will only tell you that the Filipino machos use it to boost their libido. But it is also a stimulant, much better than steroids. And since it is unknown to that freaking DEA and the medical science, nobody even know how to detect it. Even those dogs at the airport cannot sniff it out. They have no clue it exists. Yeah. So all has Pacquiao to do is simply get tuba and balut in his system, and he will win for sure. But hey, let the best guy win. Okay? Peace, guys. Peace.